Yo, yo, yo. So, I went to fly today, and I've been having the same issue with my Carbon Z Cessna, which is that, well, been having two problems actually. I've been losing my hatch, like when I pull some G's, my hatch is coming off a lot lately. And I'm pretty sure due to this little latch wearing down. So I'm gonna have to figure something out. I don't know. Only thing I can think of is maybe get this piece of plastic loose some kind of way and slide it forward just like a millimeter or something like that. But then this is a slight problem. But the major problem I've been having, which isn't that major, is that my nose wheel. Well, one, if you look at it straight on, you can see it's not straight. It's bent to the right side of the fuselage, as well as it's bent aft. So you can see it from the side profile, which it could work still. It could still fly like this. Actually, three problems. So because of this bent landing gear and flying off of grass, I'm basically stripping a real small gear inside of my servo, which is, causing, if I don't have a rudder servo, I can't control my yaw. And on the ground with the nose wheel, you can't really steer, especially in grass. So I think my fix is gonna have to be only fly the tricycle configuration off of concrete for one. And then I still have my Tundra tires and the tail wheel set up so I can turn it to a tail dragger. That'll be my kind of bush flying, off the grass flying kind of setup. And like I said, I'll use this for strictly pavement. And so as of right now, I'm gonna just go ahead and take out the damaged part, which is, as I stated, the nose wheel and servo. I guess I'll pull that out. It's pretty quick. But for the nose wheel, it's just these two screws right here. Nothing that serious. I'll try to do it with one hand as quick as possible. But like I said, it's a fairly simple thing. Now one could say that they could simply make these parts stronger, but the other side of that is, so that's one screw, that's the other one right there. The other side of that argument would be weight. If you strengthen, I would imagine that you, depending on the compounds used, you could make whatever part heavier. And for some airframes that could work, for some not so much, especially being, you could throw centers of gravity off and all that kind of stuff, which could be addressed and fixed just via battery placement. But better solution is to be a better pilot. In my case, so what happened today is the hatch fell off, and I went to land in a pretty tight spot. It was trees on either side, and I had to land, so there was like a hill. So like imagine me landing up here, but I'm approaching kind of from down low and kind of trying to catch the slope. And when I hit, the nose wheel was already kind of cocked to the left, kind of about like that. So when it hit the ground, it kind of just jerked it to that one side and stripped that gear, which I just replaced today, funny enough. Luckily I had an extra one. But it's, like I said, it's pretty simple. You got 4 screws, 5, and a clip. So I can get that clip now. It's gonna be kind of hard to see, but it basically unclips this way, and then you'll see it rotate. I won't be able to show you, obviously, because the hole isn't, well, I lied, it rotates the other way. But
can't really show you that because so you can see how I rotate it. I'll try to pull it out from this side maybe. Nope, my hand won't fit. But that, oh shoot, I just lost it. But that clip basically just pops off. It's to hold the push rod on. You know what I mean? Slide the clip over the eyelet of the push. You slide the clip's eyelet over the push rod, and it just secures the push rod to the servo horn. So once I got that out, the nose wheel basically, excuse me. Oh, I lied, I got to take one screw out as well. Of the servo. I think this is the right size, which is so 1.5 millimeter for that servo horn screw. Luckily I bought 2 nose wheel pieces. I'm trying to show you an inside view. It's not working out too well. But anyway, like I was saying, luckily I bought 2. Let me see if I can pop. There it is. I purchased 2 of these nose wheel setups, which should pop out now. Let's just have to find my backup one. I'm gonna have to put this down. Check out my phone holder. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna have to put this down for a second. Hopefully this, yeah, that should show you. Like I said, it just comes out pretty easy after the, what, 2, 3 screws and a clip. But like I said, this is the part that I've been having issues with. And now that I got it out, I can see I bent it pretty good. And I probably will just try to bend this back and keep this one back up. I also lost a set screw in here. And I used my second landing gear nose wheel. I just scavenged that set screw. I'm trying to put it in frame. There it is. I scavenged that set screw. It was a different kind supposed to be in there. Like this one right here. But I scavenged the one on the right side of the screen, just to get, to get back flying. Anyways, I believe I am going to have to replace this whole gear basically. So I have another fuselage as well, and when I installed this, the hex screw that goes down inside these holes, I basically stripped one out. I'm pretty sure it was already, not the best of quality from the factory, but they provide you with 4 of these in the kit, in the nose wheel kit. So I would, if you're installing one of these, or any part on any plane for that matter, kind of inspect these and make sure they're not, because if you get it in there too tight, you're gonna have a tough time getting it back out. What I ended up basically doing was sticking the right size tool down in there. This is a 2 millimeter. I'm sorry, it's upside down, but it's 2 millimeter. I stuck this down, and I got it in there, and I kind of cocked it off to one side and started turning it, and that eventually broke the stuck screw that I had in my other fuselage with the spare part on it. So I guess if there's a will, there's a way, because that thing's been in there for like 6 months and I couldn't figure out how to get it out. But yeah, now so I'm gonna have to go ahead and find my other part, which I think is in my laundry room. So let me grab that and I'll be right back. Yep, So luckily I did have it put back. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to find it. But so I got a little box of Carbon Z Cessna 150T. I got a whole little baggie of parts and tail wheel springs and wing latch thingies and servo horn, push rod securement, clips, all type of parts. But this is the fresh wheel. Got a few parts in here. I'm trying to figure out which ones I will for sure need. So I know I'm gonna need this. There's only one set screw missing on this one, so that should be an easy thing. Actually, I guess I'll tackle the set screw first. Let me see. Cool. Yeah, I'll hit the set screw. It's a quick and easy thing. Something else that oh no, I shouldn't have to adjust it. When I was installing this nose wheel for the first time though, I had to definitely adjust that the push rod's length. So how I basically did that is I installed this in the plane. I put the battery in the plane, turned it on, turned my controller on, obviously. So the servo was centered. And then I centered this 90 degrees off of the servo. And then I just adjusted the nose wheel from there. If I had to take some out or put some in or whatever, just pop this off the servo and make your adjustments. I did the adjustment from inside the fuselage, turning this piece, because it's the only piece that turns, rather than pulling the whole thing out. And that seemed to work pretty good. My first time trying to install this, I didn't put this push rod on the plane. And then I got the whole assembly stuck to my last fuselage, which kind of, that was pretty stupid. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, you can see some play in that as well, which I'm guessing helped cause my nose wheel being cocked to the side a little bit when I landed. Probably something like that. And then when I landed, it just forced it more and messed my servo up. But yeah, now I know. This wheel is not all that. I mean, it's tough enough for what it is, but I was operating off of a rough grass patch, which didn't fare out. So it has arrows, so you can see where. There one is. It points toward the front of the nose, and I have my servo rod going up, which is probably not the smartest thing. I should have probably faced it down. Now would be the time to change that up. Honestly, because I literally just broke that clip. So if that ever happened in the air or something like that, and I had the push rod 90 degree, that little angle right here, if I had that pushed down, gravity would kind of keep it in place rather than relying on just friction. If I had it facing up like that, I'd be relying on friction to keep it in place, to keep nose wheel control. I think I got a bag of these bad boys. Yo, what's going on, man? Just doing some Cessna, my Carbon Z Cessna, doing some maintenance. I probably had a good 10 flights with my Carbon Z 150T with the nose wheel installed. And I've been trying to fly on grass a lot, which has been giving me issues. So I have this piece. I think I might do what I said. I'm gonna install this facing down. And probably have to make some small adjustments to this guy. Hopefully that was a half turn to the right. Hopefully that keeps it pretty intact. Let me see here. I guess next would be putting this piece back on, which should be really simple. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Forward. Oh man, my legs are hurting. Man, my 80 millimeter F-16 has been having nose gear issues for about 6 months as well. Due to pilot error, landing and not, preparing for what I was gonna do after I got wheels down. So the fuselage is still in really good shape. As I said, just the nose wheels give me issues of my own doing, The first time actually I had an issue with it, I caught some wind shear, or basically I was coming in the lane, my wind was coming from my right side. I'm not the best at cross control as far as using ailerons and opposite rudder. So in a situation like that, I should have been angling my right wing down into the wind and then counter that right roll action with the left rudder, and then that would kind of have given me a crab into the wind a little bit more. But I didn't do that. I kind of landed straight on, and then when it landed, it kicked my nose to the left, and did weird things to the F-16's landing gear. So I fixed it a few times actually, and kept messing up the same part after flights. Kind of like this plane, I've been fixing the same issue, like I said, a few times now, and still dealing with it. So honestly, my options are to become a better pilot and avoid some of this stuff. So now I'm just putting the set screw back in. I don't want it so tight where it's binding up the spring like so. I'm having to push pretty hard to get that spring to compress, so I'm just gonna back it off of here. And that should be enough. Yep. And I'm gonna go ahead and make sure these other set screws are tight before I install it, because you can't get to it after it's installed. That's a big screw there. Feels pretty solid. Oh shoot, I also took my scissors off, as you can tell. But I didn't realize the scissors aren't even functional. They're just part of the look. So the set screw right here that goes in there actually is what keeps the strut from falling out of the plane, not the scissors. So on the real plane, the scissors would kind of transfer the torsion or the spinning to the nose wheel, whereas on this one it literally is just for looks. So like I said, it ain't on this one, but I'll handle that later. I ain't too much sweating that at all. So I found another set screw down in there. So now I know I have extra 2 set screws, 3. Yes, it's pretty crazy how much I bent this thing. Let me try to give you the same side-by-side comparison. What's up? What's up? I'm just doing some maintenance on my Carbon Z Cessna. I landed with the nose wheel cocked to the side a little bit and messed my servo up. But luckily, I also bent this strut, as you can see, side-by-side comparison. It's bent back pretty good. So I'll probably hand bend that back and then use this one for now. But so yeah, basically got that handled. I'll go ahead and throw the good part back on. It's pretty simple. Just fits, and you have arrows, like I said earlier, you have arrows pointing to the front of the gear. And it just slides through a hole in there, and you're in. And there's 2 screws on top that hold that piece in. And then I have a servo in the spare wing that I have that I'm gonna have to scavenge. That way I can hopefully, I'm thinking about bringing this bad boy to work with me. Oh, so I think I'm feeling that same kind of thing with this screw. So I'm not gonna put that all the way in. That ain't feeling right. I ain't forcing it. Hopefully I can at least get, if I can get 1 screw in, I'll feel cool with that 1 screw, because this thing ain't really, it's not heavy. It shouldn't have that much responsibility. Maybe I should have checked those. I'm not going too tight with this screw either. But maybe I should have checked the threads on this screw hole here. I believe this is the one I had issues with on my last fuselage. But like I said, if it feels funny on this one, I'm just probably just gonna temp install it. I got some pressure there, so I'm gonna leave that as is. I'll just keep an eye on it. Next thing I'm gonna do is probably, oh, my legs. Snatch that servo out. Should be a pretty simple thing. I think this is my size here. Yeah, that's the one. These Traxxas tools, man. This ain't even Traxxas stuff, but it's been a lifesaver for like parts like this. How deep it's in the fuselage. I wouldn't have been able to reach that as easy. So basically, boom, I have a whole, I have enough to grab the screwdriver with 2 hands. I mean, definitely a must is to magnetize your tips. Get you a good solid rare earth magnet, and just rub just the tip on the rare earth magnet, and that'll give you some gripping power on these screws when you go to install or uninstall parts. Just makes things a little easier. Funny enough, this part is from an aileron. So the lead is really long, as you will see in a second. That's a long lead. Ooh, man. So I'm pretty dizzy. Just set up too quick. So here's the bag of 3 other servos that I jacked up past maybe a month or two. Oh man, so I don't have any more servos. Not in here. I have some in my storage. I mean, I have this servo here, but it's not the same size. Because I actually scavenged both of these already. I kind of want to check it just to make sure it ain't the same. Yeah, it's the same. I can see that gray. So I'll have to scavenge my servo from a different plane, from a different fuselage. I mean, I might have just flown this one. I should have just flown this one today, or maybe even that one. I haven't had any issues with flying this 1.2 meter Cherokee. I haven't had any issues flying that off of grass. So maybe that'll just be my grass tricycle landing gear plane. This plane I've definitely had, like I said earlier, the nose wheel. I've had issues with it. And so right now I'm basically, well, I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm going to have to order a whole new nose landing gear strut for this bad boy. This puppy, I let my nephew drive it, and he ran over a plastic bag and kept throttle engaged, and it snapped. Snapped the, I'm having a brain fart. It snapped the piece in here that connects to the wheel. I'm brain farting. But anyway, yeah, I got to get that bad boy back up and running, and possibly create me a crawler track up here, which this ledge is pretty high. They said, maybe like 5'8", then I'm 6 foot, so it's like 5'8" in height. So I'm thinking about creating a track where I can maybe draw or drive up onto this ledge, you know, make my way around it or whatever, come back down, maybe hit this ledge right here. And maybe hopefully eventually create me a bridge. Maybe like not a drawstring. A drawstring would be cool. A drawstring bridge would be cool as heck. But a bridge maybe from one of these ledges to this ledge, which is probably 8 feet high or something like that. And continue that whole thing into at least this area. I don't think I'm gonna do all the fun stuff in here. I think I'm gonna keep this area pretty straightforward. With that being said, I got a good amount of stuff to kind of clean up now. I'm at a stopping point because as I said earlier, I don't have a servo. So I guess I'm just gonna attempt to install these servo screws. I got that basically installed. Shoot. My servo horn screw. I'll just toss that in here. This push rod probably needs to be installed so I don't lose it. Or I'll just clip it onto here. Pretty cool little setup though. Feels like it has more left than right. And this is without the servo being hooked up. Okay, it might be a false statement. Let's try that now. Yeah, no, definitely, because that's almost 90 degrees to the left and like 60 to the right, so. Yeah, something's catching it or causing it not to be able to turn that far. Yeah, I don't know. I might need to figure that out. Cause that's a good amount of stuck right there. Yeah, that's a good amount of pressure. And then this screw, I don't like it. Yeah, I'm leaving that like that because I don't want to strip that again and have another stuck screw. Okay, so I could temp install these servo retainer screws. And I'm gonna go ahead and call that a wrap. I should have about oh my bad. Wasn't showing you anything. But I should have about 3 or 4 more. I know I have 1 more set of wings, so I have 2 more servos, and then so I should have 4 more servos for this plane specifically, because I have a whole another fuselage of wings. Given if they aren't stripped, I pulled one out of my other wing today, which it had a stripped aileron servo. All good though. I actually had some pretty good landings today. Just a little bit of bad luck and too much cojones led me to damaging that plane. I guess I'll throw this in here. And then I'll take this and put it back in the room where I was storing it at before. Clean up. Everybody do your share. Clean up. If this plane wasn't broke, it'd be in the air. This is probably my favorite big prop plane. And then the F-16 is definitely my favorite big prop or big jet. I don't judge my my storage style. I don't have any ways to store these planes yet, but I think I said before in a different video, I plan on hanging these birds from the ceiling, which if anybody knows a way that I can, this is concrete ceilings. If you know a way I can install hooks that would support maybe 10 pounds, which I think this plane's probably 2 or 3 pounds. I haven't actually weighed it, but it's not super heavy. So I feel like 1 or 2 10-pound hooks would hold something this size or that size is just fine. So if anybody knows a way to hang, 10 pounds worth of weight up, like vertical, let me know. But eventually I'll have all my planes kind of just on display in this space all throughout. Maybe if I have access, I don't have enough space up here, I'll put some up here, but, you know what I'm saying? So, oh man, that bird right there, I crashed 4 times. The first time was a tree, pretty fast, full throttle, crashed into a tree, split the wing tip in 3. You You still see the glue spots. So it broke right here, this way, bent this as well, and this piece snapped going that way because it basically hit the tree, which didn't do much damage, surprisingly. But when it hit the ground, it landed right wing tip first, which snapped these pieces. I took about a month off for flying it, came back, glued it back together, flew it again to test it out in confined spaces. Ran it smack dab into my storage unit. That jacked up my motor mount and prop. It's a brand new prop too. Fixed the prop, flew it again, was flying it. The next crash was battery. My battery was over discharged, and I was flying in my yard, my trucker yard. So I drive trucks. I was flying in the yard where we park our trucks, and there was a car coming in, and so I had to circle the landing area on a low battery. And so when I was coming in the lane after the car had moved, my battery basically dropped too low to where it stopped, operating the motor, and I nosed down from about 8 feet up directly into concrete. Didn't break anything that time. And then my last crash was from that same location. I was flying, and I ran this motor hot before. I want to say I took this out of a different plane and put in here. Either way, so I ran this motor hot before, and it happened again the last crash, which it ran hot. I believe it expanded to some parts in there probably expanded and caused it to seize up, and nosedived into a tree, kind of not flat spin, but I kind of stalled into a tree, and it fell all the way back close enough to the ground where I could reach up with like my hand and grab a branch. Got it back down, still flies. So with all that being said, I feel like I'm going to go ahead and repair this plane, which is not much broke on it. It literally, I just got to, secure the motor mount a little better, and it would fly as is, like right now. So I'm going to get that handled, fly it one more time, then I'll go ahead and retire this plane and keep her on permanent display. Pretty cool plane, though, the T-28. Also, I want the Carbon Z T-28 because the size, size is ridiculous. So it's the same. I want to say it's the same size as this plane, 2 meter, which the 2 meter T-28 would be the bee's knees, the butterfly's ankles. All right, let me go ahead and get these parts up before QA come by here. You know what I mean? Got to keep clean work area. You also got to do a tool check. Make sure you got all your tools. Just slap that back in there. Don't ask me why I have a generator in my laundry room. I just do. Your machine. What's going on, ma'am? How you doing? Just was doing some maintenance on my little toys. But I guess I'm done now, so until next time. I think I'm gonna be going live more on my RC page, just showing little stuff that I'm doing, working on or fixing. But until next time, I'll holler at you.